Okay, it's January now, but got some sunny weather, although it's breezy, and I got my actual wheel puller finally. So let's see if we can pull this wheel, which has obviously been exposed to moisture. Hopefully, oh, I just got my knees wet. I forgot all about that. Anyway, hopefully y'all can see in here. If not, yeah, whatever. Alright, so we will thread that in. Ah, nice. Threads in. Okay, and then that's it. Pops right out. And that's why having the right tool is so nice. Okay. So now, because it's taken so long, I'm going to have to take this and clean it up and de-rust it. So, oh well. But now we can get to these guys here, and then hopefully get this guy replaced. Yeah, so I'm going to save that for another time. Oh, or maybe do it off camera. I don't know. Anyway. Let's see. Oh, I can't see it. Supposed to have a laser beam. There it is. Okay, I guess that's alright. Maybe we'll move it up just a hair. I forgot this thing had a laser beam on it that shows you about where it looks. Maybe we'll move it up even more. I've been having a hard time keeping everything that I want in frame. And I think what it is I have a tendency to think that the camera should be pointing down further. But I don't know. Let's compromise right about there. Anyway. Okay. So, right. So I got some goodies in the mail. Well, I mean, the first and probably more important one is the wheel puller, which, yeah, that made short work of the wheel pulley, of the, what do you call it, the magneto flywheel, that's right, flywheel puller. Made very short work of the flywheel, popped it right out, no problem. So I got that cleaned out. I got this cleaned up. And I don't think any of my other, I don't think I figured it out on any of my other video clips, but I've been talking about this weird sort of concave notch right here. And it dawned on me that it's in the same location as the grease channel from the Zerk fitting. So the Zerk fitting, you squish the grease in there. See, there's still grease. No matter how much I clean this with degreaser, there's always more grease. I'm just really frustrated. Anyway, so that grease goes into there, and then it has a little channel to collect in right there, and then from there it can expand out until it hits the bottom O-ring and the top here. But I don't think it's supposed to go in to this area where the rubber bushing parts are, the Yeah, bushing, I think. So anyway, yeah, so there's that, and then I got, okay, so speaking of the O-ring, I got the 3 O-rings. So here's the bottom O-ring, and that just kind of settles down on the bottom here. And it looks to me like there's a little notch right here where that O-ring fits. This little recess right here, that O-ring should fit right in there, so that it'll still fit, you know, flat. Boom. Well, anyway, we'll give everything a little bit of grease before I put it all back together permanently. Speaking of which, I should go get that now. Got some grease. Right, so that little ring goes in there, and then these guys all fit back in place. Another thing I forgot, I realized I didn't go into any detail at all, is getting the these things, bearings. I didn't go into any detail at all. I just, from one clip to the next, well, I got the bearings out. So yeah, no details on that yet. So I will try to remember to put some detail in there when I put it back together on how I got them out. Basically, chisel and a hammer, pretty much. Well, let's see, no, it wasn't a chisel, it was a screwdriver. Screwdriver and a hammer and a whole lot of whacking. Okay, so let's grab a paper towel. Finally got to the hardware store and picked up some more blue towels, so I don't have to use the regular kitchen towels. But anyway, so we'll get us some grease. Grease that up. A little bit, and then of course we'll get lots more grease in there once it's assembled. But for now, I want to make sure we get that O-ring recess all nice and lubed up there. Yeah. Okay. And I don't think it matters which way this goes on, so we'll just put it on some way. There we are. So now, let's see, these guys can go in. Don't think it matters which way. I don't see a difference between one side and the other. So those should just slide right in there. And they do for the most part. Let's see. Oh, I lost my I lost my purchase. Yeah, we can scooch those in. There we go. Make sure that, oh, that's nice and loose though. That side's a little tight for some reason. But that's okay. The important thing is those get seated in there. Alright, and then there's the second O-ring that goes on this guy, and he just goes right on top of those half circle clips, or keepers maybe. I can't remember the proper term, but anyway, That goes on there. And then we've got this dust cover seal thing, and the larger O-ring, number 3 O-ring, goes on that. So this little I don't know what you call it, this little corner here, I think is where it should match up with that O-ring there to make a seal. And then of course this little notch here holds this O-ring, and then put a little bit in here. So this should now slide right onto that inner O-ring, and then the outer O-ring should slide right past the notch there. And then we've got our circlip, which holds everything in place. I think I can just put that on by hand. There we go. Make sure it's seated. Oh yeah, we actually have some room right there. So there you go. There's the hub all reassembled. And then I don't know if this will fit or not, but I found one, so I went ahead and bought it. This is the plastic dust cover that goes on over the aluminum one right there. So I'll save that, and when I go to put the whole thing back on the bike, I will see if it fits or not. Another thing I got in the mail is a new 42 tooth drive sprocket. So that goes right on there. And then I was test fitting these nuts the other day. Should be a couple more in there. They're a little hard to get on and get off. So I have decided to go ahead and clean up the threads. I cleaned up the threads on one. Which one was it? Might have been that one. And then, yeah, it looks like that goes on just fine. Well, so that's it for that side for now. Oh, except we have. Oh, why don't we go ahead and fill up the thing with grease? Something I don't normally do is use my grease gun for actual zerk fittings. Oh, there we go. It's full of grease now. So oh yeah, there's a little bit of grease coming out of there and a little bit coming out of there. So I bet you that's what those two little holes that go all the way through, those bigger holes, are for, is somewhere for the air and the grease to go when you're filling it. Hey, so I'm taping. Oh, I may run out of battery, but I'm taping up the whatever this thing is, the brake cover, brake drum cover. Okay, and then wipe it down with acetone. This part's going to be fun. Now, I will spare you that and come back when the whole thing is done, or maybe painted. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I put this aluminum dust cover on here with the O-ring in it just to see if it fit, and it is significantly more difficult to get it back out when it actually has an O-ring in it. And I found that just a regular little Allen wrench really helps to pull up on it. If you're having trouble getting it out. So that worked for me. If you have a couple of these, why, that would be great. I only found one, but it did the trick. Anyway, let's get back to this guy. And I'm going to set him over here again because that's where the best place to do some hammering. Let's see if I can keep it in frame here. So I still have, let's see, is there anything left to do? I don't think so. This is already greased. So I think there's nothing left to do now, but go ahead and put this spacer and collar in here. Oops. Well, okay. Maybe that's where it's supposed to go. That does look pretty good sitting right there. So I think I'll leave it. But yeah, I'll just set that right there. And yeah, that actually keeps it nice and centered on that side. I'm surprised there aren't two of them. But anyway, everything's all greased and ready to go, so time to sound, do you? Did you? Oh. Nope, it's bottoming out at the thing. Oh, who's this? Alright, so that's all put together. So I think after having it apart myself and reading about other people taking theirs apart, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this bearing spacer down in here, when you have it flipped over this way, you should be able to push that over just a little bit And well, I need a longer screwdriver, but the idea is if you push it over just a little bit, and then you should be able to catch the inside bearing, or the inside race of the bearing, and then tap that out, hopefully without damaging the bearing, but usually when you take the bearings out, you're doing it to replace them anyway. But anyway, so yeah, since there's two bearings on this side and only one on that side, probably best to start with that one. So that's my thinking on this anyway. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but if I ever go to take this apart again in, you know, another 10, 20 years, maybe that'll be useful. Or if someone else is watching the video wondering how to get that apart, that would be my best guess. I don't know how good SOK is as a brake shoe brand, but they're the only brand I could find that also sold the springs, and I couldn't find springs by themselves, so we'll try that. And I've got the this guy primed, but I think one more coat of primer. I can still see just a little bit of aluminum through the paint. So one more coat of primer. I'm using this stuff, which did really good on another project, so I'm going to use it on this. The other project was also aluminum,